As a matter of fact, I was invited a year ago. A sponsor wanted to bring me there because he thought Cornette was going to be inducted. I said, well, they're not going to tie me into it. I mean, they got me on fucking highlight reels to manage Cena. That's all they got. They're not going to have me involved. And if I ain't involved, then I don't want to be there. And then Jimmy doesn't get the invite anyway. So, and there's some saying that there's insiders telling me that Vince never thought that much of the Midnight Express and that they will never go, and that Jimmy didn't really do that much in the WWE to be worthy of the Hall of Fame. And plus, he's buried the shit out of them and talked shit about them. And that was almost kind of a slap in the face to Jimmy to get him down there to induct the Rock and Roll, and then never put him in. So, because I guarantee you, Jimmy thought he was going in. I mean, he'd been a fool. I thought he was. And but there are insiders telling me that was a way to put Jimmy in his place. You come down here and dance like a monkey and put the Rock and Roll in, and obviously your turn to come up soon. You would have figured the next year, and you'd have figured the Rock and Roll would have inducted him. And well, thank God he went, because that's how I became a WWE Hall of Fame mentionee. I just wish, and I'm a WWE Hall of Fame developee now by developing Mark Henry and getting him into the Hall of Fame. And I told Mark that, and he said, God dang, Kenny. I said, yep, you knew I was going to get credit for it somehow or another. So,
which match do you think got the worst crowd reaction? Brock versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 20, or Brock versus Roman Reigns?
Well, the fans all knew that both of them were leaving. There was nothing to look forward to. All the fans, all the smart marks knew that Brock was leaving. They all knew Goldberg was leaving. And there was nothing to get excited about. So I would say that one may have been worse. Roman. This is the worst I've coughed all day, guys. I'm sorry. I'm actually doing good until now.
You made a good point with that, because that was why they kind of shit all over it. But at the same time, they knew that both of these guys, Brock may be leaving, they thought at the time, but they genuinely hated both of these guys, and they thought they were staying. So I think that speaks more to the hatred of
that was more to the hatred.
Than the hatred of the match.
But no, they never wanted Roman Reigns in that match to begin with. They would have much rather had Brock Lesnar versus Gilbert than what they got. They do not like Roman.
Someone said this one had better chance, and I definitely agree. It was the first time I can remember watching a main event and hearing "This is awful" chance.
This is awful.
It was great.
I was pretty much just totally out of it by then. I didn't fall asleep like I thought I would. I don't know why. I guess because we had so many people up there that I kept bitching. I mean, everything I'd say, I go, holy shit. Oh, and then the goddamn Stephanie Ronda Rousey thing. Did you see that botched move that Stephanie did when she tried to take a bump from Ronda, and she just bailed out on it and didn't take it early in the match?
I don't remember. I watched the match. I actually liked the match, but I don't remember that part.
Hated it. Ronda doesn't have a timing cue in her fucking body.
You got that right.
No clue when to speak, no clue when to give the facial expressions. She is a little bit better now than she was a month ago, but they've been training her secretly for well over a year. When you're already trained to fight and perform, the rest of this shit should come pretty quick. When you claim you're this big diehard fan of the WWE and you've studied it your whole life. No, she hadn't. She's a mark. They said she sits in the back and just can't believe some of the people she's meeting. There are no real stars back there anymore, short of Cena. maybe Shinsuke, but she probably had no clue who fucking Shinsuke was till he got here. Maybe Randy Orton. But the big stars, the Stone Colds, the Rocks.
And she does need to stop smiling. Somebody said that in the chat, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
She never smiled once on her way to the ring in the UFC, and she was out there to beat ass.
She's popping herself because they're chanting her name.
Yeah.
And I've even heard on some of the shows they pre-record the Ronda or take it from a previous show, Ronda Rousey, and they're pumping them in because the TV audience doesn't know any better. And then when the audience there hears it, okay, we're supposed to chant Ronda Rousey now. So, but they're setting them up, and I've got that from insiders too, that they're they're piping in her chants because they said it's dead as a ghost when she comes out in most cases. And that stupid fucking grin all the way there. She acts like a big mark who's happy to be there. Oh my God, I just saw John Cena backstage. Oh, it was so cool to see Randy Orton. Goddamn, Brock Lesnar's back there. Maybe I can fight him one day. And but you know, Stephanie and Triple H are all in on this. This is their baby, and they're going to shove it down her throat because it's got to work. It was their idea, and it has not worked since she got there. The fans could give less than a shit about her. They know she's a fucking phony, and the boys have learned in the back that she don't know a fraction of what she claims she knew, and that she is just a mark who's happy to be backstage meeting what she views as stars that she's seen on television while she was trying to do her shit. And even Stephanie zinged her with that little line. She says, it's really going to be terrible if you lose at WrestleMania. We all know how you handle losing. I mean, she threatened to commit suicide because she lost a goddamn fight.
Well, I want to ask you something real quick.
We need to work on her mental stability a little bit, I think.
Because she was talking about how she wanted to have Paul Heyman as a manager. And I want to bring this back to the Brock Roman thing. Do you think that maybe the match could have been somewhat saved a little bit just because it would have been a kind of a swerve if Paul Heyman would have turned on Brock like he did before when he faced the Big Show?
A lot of people thought that was going to happen.
Because he's got a tie-in with the Samoans.
I had insiders tell me that was going to happen. And, well, you're there. You're the one that hears this backstage shit. You know, I don't know. Anything I'm doing, I'm just fucking guessing. I don't know.
And they could show packages of Paul managing his dad and his uncle and all that stuff. And I think it would be a good tie-in. It would make sense why he would turn on Brock to go with Roman because Brock's not going to be around as much.
He had put out a tweet earlier that day that he was leaving with the WWE title. And so a lot of people just right there thought, well, I guess what we're hearing is true. He didn't say Brock Lesnar was leaving with it. He said he is. And we thought that he was going to fuck him, and maybe Paul could elevate Roman Reigns into some actual real heat. And maybe Paul says, nah, you ain't putting that shit on me. I mean, maybe Paul said, no, I'll just fucking quit and go home. I don't know that Paul would do that. Paul likes the camera a lot. So I don't know if he'd actually do that, but I think that would have been better than what we got. You know, and I even knew that it was supposed to happen, but it, the insiders, I had insiders at 2 or 3 things they told me, that the people that are in the know there that told me this shit that was going to happen, and not one of them panned out.